All right, we are here with Andrea Spencer. She is the superintendent of the floriculture show here at the Iowa State Fair, and quite a large show, especially since COVID. Just tell us a little bit about how great it is to have this many entrants once again at the floriculture show.
Yeah, so these are all FFA members. It's all part of their program that they're doing with their, with what they want to do as far as putting a project together. So it's all their project. This year we had over 1,000 entries, which is a lot more than what we've had the past couple years. So it keeps growing steadily, which is great. So they all came in this morning. We probably had, I'm not even sure how many members were in here, honestly. I'd have to go count them up. But we had a lot of members all working diligently. They get like 3 hours to set everything up and put all these flowers out on the tables. And then they're all judged today. And they'll get their rankings and placings this afternoon.
And many people, when they think of showing at the state fair, they're thinking of showing cattle, showing pigs. But the flowers require just as much showmanship as any livestock animal does. And, we see all of the kids who are involved in the show. They're wearing the same exhibitor shirt as everyone else. So, even though it might not be an animal, it's just as much of a big part of the state fair as anything else, right?
It is. Oh, very much so. So these students that have done this, they have had to start, they're already starting this fall already, like planning out the tubers that they're going to buy and the corms and the plants that they want to grow and laying out their garden plans. And some of them start seeds in January. Like if you have Lysianthus and you're starting from seed, that's a January start. Then they can start and they do cuttings and things like that throughout the early spring, and then they all have to go into the ground. I know one of our members, she has 600 dahlias that she planted this year just for her project. But there's others that it takes a lot of work. And then there's if you think about your own gardens, there's all the weeding, and then these big dahlias, you have to disbud them. So you have to go out and you have to disbud them in the summer. So there's a lot of summer work too that goes into it, conditioning them, making sure they're growing. And of course, just like any other crop, high winds could knock everything down. We just had some big high winds here a week or so ago, which I know that didn't help, especially those tall glads. They don't like that. Heavy rains could do stuff, bug damage, so they have to maintain pest control too out in their plots. So they have to do all of that. And then when they get here, yeah, you're right, the showmanship. So they're wearing their numbers and exhibitor shirts just like everybody else that's showing here on the fairgrounds. And we do have showmanship competition, so we have a judge going through and making sure. And he talks to them about, do you know what you're raising and what you're growing and how you're doing, and looks at, are you putting it in the right bottle? Are you leaving the leaves on? We can't have leaves in the water, like that gets them docked when it comes to judging. So yeah, all of that goes into it. There's a lot of things to think about it even the day of. It's not just putting tags on and throwing it in a class. There's a lot of things that they do for showmanship.
And like you mentioned, later on we'll have the showmanship awards and just awards in general for the chapters, point totals, individual awards. That will be later this afternoon. And of course, a great place to be here too in the John Deere Ag Building to everybody kind of walk on by and see these flowers on display.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's a great place to be. And of course, it's a big show, and I have a lot of people that come by and ask us, what is that? And that's great. So we answer their questions as to what the flowers are. And, even some people ask how to grow them here in Iowa, and that's good too. So, and I've known some of the students when they're setting up, they'll help answer questions too, because the building is open for about an hour while students are still working. And so I know our students do a lot of education as well. So it's great. And they'll have their awards this afternoon. And like you said, we'll have the chapter awards and the individual awards, and then, yeah. And we even have, just like Parade of Champions with livestock and everything else, the flowers also go in Parade of Champions, so.
Yep, and we'll have those results posted later on in the show today. And just one last thing before we wrap up this interview. For anyone, especially FFA members or ag kids who are on the fence thinking about a floriculture show, what's your sales pitch to them to get them involved in this category?
Well, flowers are beautiful. We don't have to do, there's a lot of paperwork we don't have to do, right? Front end. But it's really fun. If you just want to grow them in your yard, even if you have a grandparent or somebody who wants to help you, because I know oftentimes it was my grandma that helped me get into floriculture when I was young, to help tell you names of roses and things like that. So it may even be things you already have growing in the yard and just figuring out what variety are they and how can I take care of it better to come to the show. So I think if you're wanting to try something really easy, like marigolds are a really simple start. So are zinnias. They're really simple. Throw the seed in the ground, weed them, take care of them. I think that's a great way to start.
All right, thanks so much for taking the time to visit today, and good luck with the rest of the show today.
Yeah, thank you very much.